What's going on, everybody? Y'all already know the vibes, man. The stage 5 major is right around the corner. We have the CDL pick'ems, and that's what I'm going to be doing in today's video. All right, guys, to start off, the very first round has some interesting matchups. I'll be honest, kind of didn't think a couple of these teams would be in this situation. Those teams being Toronto and FaZe. I did think both of them would get first in their group, but Optic and Empire turned up, and it's well-deserved that they get the winners round 1 bye. But so that means that the first match of the winners bracket is going to be Toronto Ultra versus my LA Thieves. Now, as much as I want to believe in LAT, and I do believe, I am very hopeful in them, they have a tough matchup. Toronto's been a tough team to play against all year long. And as hopeful as I am for LAT, like I do think that they have a chance to win this series. It's just going to be tough because Toronto is super resilient, man, super gritty. They're not an easy team to beat by any means, okay? Now, on the other side, when you look at LAT, it's a little different. There's been a lot of team changes, the most team changes in the year. They've swapped players in and out. And while they have shown signs of being a top team, they're wildly inconsistent. The one advantage that I think LAT possibly has in this series is the fact that they have Kenny, that they have Slasher, that they have John. All of these players have competed and succeeded at the biggest stage, in the biggest moments, okay? Whereas on Toronto, you have Bance, but then all the other guys, they really haven't been in a situation where you're on main stage, you have the crowd, you can hear the noise, you know? And so they don't have the experience. And I think there's a possibility where maybe some of the players get a little nervous on Toronto, which is perfectly fine. I'm not saying that in a bad way. It just, that's how it goes. That's how it's always been, you know? And these guys, I know Kleenex was in Black Ops 4 champs, but he wasn't really on like a top team by any means. Cammy and Insight, I don't think they've ever really played in front of a crowd, especially at, you know, this is the major heading in the champs. So I have a feeling LAT can capitalize on that. Like there is a chance that they do get a little nervous and they play off their game, just because they're not used to it, right? But I still don't know. Do I go for the upset early here? Is what I'm trying to figure out. No, because you know what? I'm hopeful, but I think LAT is going to end up having to make a run in losers bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and go 3-1 Toronto Ultra, which will move them into the next round. Okay, and they will be going up against Optic, but we'll get to that match later. Then the second winners round 1 matchup, Atlanta FaZe versus Minnesota Rocker. This is a tough draw if you're Minnesota. I know they look great against Florida. That was a huge matchup in the group stages because you secured them winners bracket. But Atlanta FaZe is just a different beast. I have a 3-0, I think, in favor of FaZe, and that means that they're going to be going up against the Empire in winners round 2. But let's move on to the elimination round 1 games. NYSL Gorillas. NYSL have been very poor. Very, very poor in this stage. Obviously, there's been a lot of obstacles in their way. Clay taking a step back. Diamond Con is in. But they got lucky. Because I really think right now, if they would have been going up against either Seattle, Paris, or, I mean, yeah, either one of those teams, I guess, because they're the other two in the losers round 1, I think that they probably lose this series. I do. They just don't look good. But they are going up against LAG, which is the worst team in the game, in my opinion. So I have NYSL winning that series 3-1. Not much to say on the side of LAG. They look defeated, man. You know, they've had a hard year. It's been rough. They haven't had any success since, I guess, the very early stages of the year where they were in the top 8 at one point. But moving on. Seattle Surge versus the Paris Legion. This is interesting because both of these teams as well aren't going to make it the champs. They didn't qualify. So they kind of had that fucking mentality. You know what I'm saying? They kind of have that mentality where let's just go play our game, be loose. You know, whatever happens, happens. And for some reason, I don't know why, I have Seattle coming out on top 3-1. I think Seattle, they might just drop all strategy and just see how things go. We saw how good Octane looked at the last major, which was on LAN. I think he continues that performance. And I hope they try to make something out of this season. You know, since they aren't going to champs, might as well make the most of this major. Try to make as much money as you possibly can as a team, even if you have zero plans of sticking together, which I'm sure they don't have any plans to stick together after this year. And then going into the second elimination round, this is on Friday. We're going to do this round and then we'll do the winners round 2. Florida Mutineers versus the Subliners. I just think Florida's too strong. They're too talented. I will give NYSL a map. And while I think these games could be close, I just think Florida has too much talent. And with how poor NYSL's looked, I can't be confident in them. I just can't be confident in them winning this series. You know, Florida probably should have been in winners bracket. They started out the group stages really strong, and then they just fizzled out, which is kind of a trend. But I got them in the NYSL series. And then the next round is going to be London Royal Ravens, guys, versus Seattle Surge. If you were to ask me right now, what do I think of these two teams? Or I guess I should rephrase that. Who do you think is the better team? I would probably say the better team is London Royal Ravens. But once again, similar to Toronto, how I touched on that, Royal Ravens really don't have players that have been in a situation that they're about to be put in. Okay. Yes, they're on LAN. I know they played LAN at the last major, but now they have fans again. So it could be a little nerves. While on the side of Seattle, they've done this. They've been here. These guys are experienced. And they're also still a very talented team. So I got Seattle Surge making a little bit of a run. And I have them beating the London Royal Ravens. I'm going to say 3-1. But I mean, yeah, I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1. So now I'm not going to do this round yet, but that sets us up for elimination round 3, which will be LAT versus the Mutineers, and then Minnesota going up against the Seattle Surge. So scroll back up top. Winners round 2, man. Huge matches. These are some good matchups too, because you have Optic Chicago versus Toronto Ultra, and you have Dallas Empire versus the Atlanta FaZe. Now, Optic Chicago and Toronto Ultra, 2 of the top 4 teams in the game right now. I mean, this winners round 2 is the top 4 teams in the game, in my opinion, and probably most of your guys' opinions, unless you're faded. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I truly think this is Optic's tournament to lose. All right. Optic has been pretty inconsistent all year long. They've had a lot of unfortunate events. Not going to get into them, but you guys probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But they've always had the talent. All right. Their teamwork and their fundamentals, that's what was lacking throughout this season. But I truly think they're starting to put it together. I do. And everything is lining up. The stars are aligning. Okay. They get first in their group. It's the first time this happened. Or they get first in their group. It's the first time this has happened all year. That means they get a bye out of winners round 1. Okay. So they don't have to win as many series as they normally would. But on top of that, they have the confidence because they were able to take down FaZe. Yeah, I know it was online. Yeah, I know it was just a regular league match, whatever. But trust me, for their mentality and their confidence and just their overall morale, this was huge. So I think this is the best Optic Chicago we've seen all year. And because I think this is their tournament to lose, the fans are back. They're going to be going absolutely crazy for Optic, by the way. I have Optic taking this series. I do. I have 3-1, and that would put them in the winners finals. But now we need to find out who will be joining them, guys. And these two teams, they were the last 2 teams in the finals. It was a freaking nail biter, by the way. It went all the way to the last map number 9. I think it was 6-4. FaZe were able to win, but it was very close. Like, Dallas was competing. They looked good. But as much as I would want to pick another team besides FaZe, because it seems like FaZe is always here, I also think that their loss against Optic was a good thing for them. I think it was a win-win for both teams in that series. It gave Optic the confidence, knowing that they can take down FaZe, which is the best team in the game, still is currently the best team in the game. But on the side of FaZe, it's good to get punched in the mouth sometimes. All right, because even in that last major, it went the distance, but they won. And so whatever, it was close, I know that, but it was like, oh, in their heads, oh, we clutched up, we got the ice, we're not worried about it, like we can't lose mentality. I mean, they've been in every single finals. And then they got, you know, a little bit of a reality check, which is a good thing. And I think that's going to fuel their fire, because this is the first time that FaZe isn't starting in winners round 2. They got to go into this finals, into this major, starting from winners round 1. So I think that is going to light the fire under them. I think they're going to come out, have a great series versus Minnesota. And I think they will have a fantastic series versus Empire as well. I think this will be a 3-1. Actually, no. You know what? I think it does go game 5. I do. But I have a feeling that this series is each map that a team wins is going to be very lopsided. Like, it's going to go to distance, but each map I think will be a dominant performance, including the game 5 S&D. I do. So that means, let me scroll on over. So that means the winners finals is set. Not going to predict it yet, but we're going to have a Chicago Optic versus an Atlanta FaZe on LAN in front of the crowd. Winners finals match. This is going to be a absolute bender of a series. I hope it's a great series. But before we get there, we got to figure out what teams will be going through the loser bracket. So elimination round 3, we got LAT versus Florida Mutineers. Then we have Minnesota Rocker going up against Seattle Surge. Now, y'all know how I feel about LAT. Okay. They are still inconsistent. I'm not oblivious to that. They have the makeup, though. They have the makeup to make a run in losers bracket. They all have the experience besides Draza. But I'm not really worried about that, because the core 3 have the experience. I said the same thing last major, but unfortunately Hugh couldn't play, and then they had to pick up Draza. It was a whole mess, right? It was a whole mess. So that's besides the point. They have the players that are built for this type of run. And I think this losers bracket run, which at least I hope, is going to help build their teamwork, build their momentum moving forward. Okay. They're going to continuously get better each series. And I do have them winning up against Florida Mutineers. I think this will be close. I have a 3-2 in favor of LAT. But even though I believe at the moment Florida is the better team, you know, from just recent success and where these teams stand, Florida's a team that has a lot of talent, but they play very sloppy, in my opinion. I've been on teams in the past, so I have this experience where they only really win when they're out slaying the enemy team. A perfect example is when they played Dallas Empire in the group stages. They won that series 3-1. The games were so close, and they were outslaying the living hell out of Dallas Empire. And what that tells me is that if they weren't shooting as well as they were, right, they would have probably gotten blown out, because they should have won by a much larger margin. It should have been way more comfortable than it was. And then you saw them go up against Minnesota, where they weren't shooting that well. Okay. They had no chance. They had no chance in that series. So this is going to be a close series, and I do think these teams are very close, but I got to give the edge to LAT. Call me biased if you want. My prediction. This is my video. So whatever. Moving forward, though, Minnesota Rocker versus Seattle Surge, the other elimination round 3 match. You know what? I think they do it. I think they do it. I want one team. I'm making my dream a reality. I want one team that isn't going to champs to really make a run. All right, this is last tournament of the year for them. All right, Play loose. Play how you want. Have fun with it. Just go in with a clean slate. It doesn't matter. You know, I think that could be very beneficial to a team like Seattle Surge. Don't play so, you know, scrunched up. You know, you're tight. You're not loose. Don't worry about if somebody makes a mistake. Just go out there. It's almost like a pickup game. And I think that might benefit them. So I have Seattle Surge winning this series 3-2. That's definitely probably an upset to a lot of people. Maybe. I don't know. I guess it depends on how you guys rate Minnesota Rocker, right? But I have them winning 3-2, moving on to elimination round 4. This is where it gets interesting because we have Dallas Empire versus LAT, and we have Toronto Surge. We have the Toronto Surge. We have the Toronto Ultra going up against the Seattle Surge. So first off, I just want to get this done and dusted. Even though this is the second match, I got Toronto beating Seattle 3-0. You know, Seattle Surge makes a little bit of a run, nothing to be ashamed about, but Toronto's just too strong. I think they find their footing in the second half of this event, right? And then we have Dallas Empire versus the LAT. The LAT. Damn, man. I want to say LAT, but I've already given some hot takes. Okay, maybe some questionable predictions. We all know how good Dallas Empire looked at the last major. They were fantastic. And while I know LAT can beat Dallas, LAT just beat Optic. So they can definitely beat Dallas. I don't think they're quite there yet. Or do I? You know what? I do. Because you know, this, hear me out. And I know y'all are good. That LAT buys, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me believe in something. Okay? I believe in this team. I want to see how they perform on LAN in front of a crowd. I was hyping that up in the last major, and then Hugh couldn't make it. I want to see these guys fucking perform. So I got to speak it into existence. And I have LAT 3-2ing Dallas Empire. I think Dallas Empire lose that close series to FaZe, and then they just can't get it together. That's what I'm going with. But this, you know, I wouldn't argue if you had Empire winning in this situation. I believe in my boys. I do. So, you know, I've been on both sides of the fence this year. There's been times when I've gassed up LAT, was completely biased, right? Predicted them to win way more than they realistically were going to. And then I've been on the opposite side where I just downplayed them, and I said I didn't think that they had enough. And so I got to meet in the middle somewhere. And that's why we're here. So that means that the elimination round 5 matchup is going to be LAT versus Toronto Ultra. So the question is now, do LAT have enough to get into the top 3 at this major? Now, these two teams match up in round 1. I have Toronto Ultra beating them 3-1. Yeah, this is where the luck runs out. I think Toronto Ultra, at this point in the tournament, they're getting more comfortable being in front of a crowd, you know what I'm saying, being up on that main stage. And they're a very, very tough team to go up against. They're not an easy team to play by any means. And I think they're going to do what they did in the first round. I do believe that they will win 3-1. I hope the matches are close, you know, if they even play in this. Or, I mean, actually, well, they play in winners round 1. I hope the matches are close. I do. I want it to be competitive, but I need to see LAT first to really gauge. I need to see them on LAN at this major in front of a crowd and really see how they perform. Because I could be gassing them. Y'all probably gonna be in my comments like, what? LAT is not doing this. They're not getting top 4. But we'll see. So I have LAT bowing out in the 4th place spot, which is not bad. It's something that they can build off going into champs. But that means Toronto Ultra does move into the losers finals. Dun dun dun. But now we have the match everyone's waiting for. Well, I just realized I accidentally did the elimination round 5, which is on Sunday, and the winners finals on Saturday. But because I forgot that they moved the winners finals to Saturday. You know what? I got something for y'all. My goodness. just let me finish, because I'm going to kind of speed run these last 3 series. In the winners finals, I have Atlanta FaZe absolutely bodying Optic 3-0. Okay, I think they come out for blood. They're looking for revenge. You know, there's a rivalry kind of growing there, and they're probably upset that they lost to Optic. But I think it was just one of those series. It's going to be one of those series where Optic kind of wasn't firing on all cylinders. FaZe came out. Okay, they were aggressive. They attacked, and they ended quick. But then that means that Optic is in losers finals going up against Toronto. Now, we know Optic. They just beat FaZe not too long ago. But now they find themselves going up against another top team, and that is Toronto Ultra. This is where they kind of get their revenge on Toronto. Because after they get sent home, well, sent to the losers bracket home, after they get sent there, I think they bounce back. I think they win this series 3-1, and then they end up in the finals again, going up against Atlanta FaZe. So now we have the Stage 5 final, Atlanta FaZe versus Optic. I think this is a very good series. I do believe FaZe will come out on top again. I have 5-3. I think it'll be back and forth. FaZe will pull away, and then they'll be able to close it out before going to that last map, S&D. But I do think this is a huge event for Optic, because I think what's going to happen is, even though they don't win, the fact that they're able to compete with FaZe, with Toronto, with Empire, not only compete, win, it's going to be huge for their momentum, huge for their confidence going in the champs. I think if Optic is in this final, the way my predictions are going, I think they have a real shot at winning champs. I do, because everything is set up for them. Okay, and I would love to see a new team win over FaZe. It's really hard to root against FaZe right now, guys. It is. They've been in every single final. Okay, they've won all majors but one. So, you know, if I'm a bet man, I gotta go all in on them right now. I do. You know, I would love to see Optic win a different team, like I said, but them being here, I think will give them the confidence to really, really lock in and just believe that they can win champs. So that is my CDL pickups, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I got some hot takes in there, okay? Some questionable takes, but I think for the most part, you guys will agree. And I want to hear your thoughts. I want to hear what teams do you think have the potential to make a run. Maybe you think another team, maybe Optic will win this major. Or do you think it's going to be the same old, and FaZe will be victorious again? Let me know, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, I'm going to see y'all when I see y'all. I just forgot, though, by the way, since I will be at the major, I'm planning on doing a lot of vlog footage, behind the scenes stuff. Hopefully, I got a lot of other content that I have to do for LAT, and just other things that I can't speak on right now. So I'm going to do my best, but I definitely want to get some behind the scenes footage. So I think you guys will all enjoy that. But I'm out.